Hello and welcome to Radiant Moments, a J&B podcast. I'm Michelle, your host, and I'm genuinely grateful to have you join me here. As we come together in this space, I encourage you to set aside any demands from the day, to deeply breathe and to enter into this time with a sense of peace and presence. Imagine this podcast as a cozy corner just for you, a place to let go, relax and reflect. Whether you're at home, out for a walk, or maybe listening in between tasks, allow this to be a moment of calm in your day. I know how busy life gets and how quickly we can put ourselves last, so consider this your invitation to pause, because you deserve it. Grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's begin this journey together. Here at Radiant Moments, we uncover the small, powerful ways we can enrich our caregiving experiences, find resilience, and connect with our inner strength. Whether you've been a caregiver for years, or just stepping into the role, or simply want to explore this journey, know that we're all in this together. I'm here to walk beside you, to listen and to share. We'll celebrate the joy and strength in caregiving. We'll explore practical strategies and embrace the radiant moments that remind us of our purpose and connection. So let's take this time to nurture our inner spark, because no matter how busy life gets, we each deserve to find moments of peace and fulfillment. In our previous episode, we discussed the Caregiving Hat Medical Coordinator. We explored practical strategies for managing medical appointments, keeping track of medications, and ensuring clear communication with healthcare providers. Today, we're exploring micro moments of self-care. Those small, meaningful actions that can make a big difference. We'll cover the importance of self-care, how to take baby steps into this journey, and ways to prevent guilt or overwhelm from creeping in. Let's dive in. Caregiving is a beautiful journey, but it's also one that can be demanding both physically and emotionally. It's easy to get caught up in the needs of others and forget our own well-being. But there's an essential truth that we all need to remember. We cannot pour from an empty cup. When we neglect our own needs, it becomes increasingly difficult to be fully present and provide the best care for our loved ones. Self-care isn't a luxury. It's a necessity, but I know that for many caregivers, making time for self-care can feel like just another task on the endless list. That's where micro moments of self-care come in. These are tiny pockets of time, sometimes just a few seconds, where we can recharge and reconnect with ourselves without feeling like we're taking a time away from those who need us. Let's explore some ways to start embracing these small yet powerful moments of self-care. And I promise they don't have to feel like another burden or a time-consuming task. Number 1, start with baby steps. The journey into self-care doesn't need to be overwhelming. In fact, the best approach is to take it slowly and steadily. Think of it like dipping your toe into the water before diving in. If you're new to prioritizing yourself, just start with a few moments each day. This might mean setting aside 1 minute to breathe deeply before getting out of bed, or taking 5 minutes to savor your morning coffee without any distractions. When you approach self-care in small, manageable steps, you're giving yourself permission to prioritize well-being without feeling guilty or overwhelmed. Remember, these little actions build up over time, creating a foundation that supports you in the long term. It's okay to start small. Every step counts. Number 2, why self-care is essential, not selfish. As caregivers, we tend to prioritize others over ourselves, but in doing so, we run the risk of burnout. Self-care is essential because it replenishes our energy and provides the mental clarity we need to make sound decisions, stay patient, and give our best. If we ignore our own needs, we're not only doing ourselves a disservice, we're also reducing our capacity to provide compassionate care to others. Self-care isn't selfish. It's a necessary part of maintaining the energy we need to show up fully for those we love. Think of it like refueling your car. You wouldn't set off on a long journey without enough fuel. So why attempt to care for others without replenishing our own energy? By taking these moments, we're ensuring that we're not just surviving, but thriving. Number 3, micro moments of self-care. Simple, practical ideas for you. Let's dive into some micro moments of self-care that can be easily woven into your day. Mindful breathing. Pause wherever you are. Take a slow breath in, hold it, and then slowly release. Repeat this a few times. This simple action can ground you, reduce stress, and help you feel more present. Sensory reset. Engage your senses by noticing small details around you. The texture of your clothes, the smell of coffee, or the warmth of the sun. These brief moments of sensory awareness pull us into the present moment, allowing us to reconnect with ourselves even during a busy day. Positive affirmations. Take a moment to affirm yourself. Try saying, "I am doing my best and that is enough," or "I am worthy of care and compassion." Affirmations can lift our spirits, ground us, and remind us of our own strength and value. Stretch or move. Stand up. Stretch your arms. Roll your shoulders. Or take a quick walk around the room. Physical movement, even in small doses, relieves tension and helps energize the body. These small acts might seem insignificant at first, but each one is a step towards maintaining a healthy relationship with yourself. Remember, these moments do not need to be long or complex. They just need to be intentional. Number 4, overcoming guilt and embracing self-care. It's not uncommon to feel guilty when taking time for yourself. Many caregivers feel like if they're not actively doing something for others, they're falling short. But think of self-care as an investment. It's not taking time away, it's creating reserves of energy, patience, and resilience. If guilt starts creeping in, remind yourself that by caring for yourself, you're also caring for your loved ones. You're ensuring that you have the strength and patience to continue showing up for them in the best way possible. Taking time for yourself is an act of love, not only for you, but also for those you care for. Number 5, setting the foundations for sustainable self-care practice. Creating a sustainable self-care practice is about more than just moments here and there. It's about building habits that prioritize your well-being in a way that feels natural. Start by identifying what resonates with you. Maybe it's a quiet morning routine, a few moments of journaling, or even listening to music that brings you joy. Experiment with what works best, and remember that there is no right way to do self-care. The goal is to find small actions that are meaningful and doable. Over time, these actions become part of your life, grounding you and helping you maintain balance. I'd like to share a personal story. There was a time in my caregiving journey where I felt completely overwhelmed. I didn't believe I had time for self-care. Everything felt too urgent and too demanding. But a close friend suggested that I start small. She told me to take just 2 minutes a day to breathe deeply without distractions. Now, if I'm being honest, at first it felt insignificant. How could 2 minutes make a difference? But as I kept practicing, I realized that those moments gave me a sense of calm and clarity. They were my lifeline, a reminder that I could find moments of peace even on the craziest days. For a long time, self-care felt like an impossible luxury. I told myself there wasn't enough time, that my loved ones needed care first, that I could push through the exhaustion. But over time, I learned the hard way that neglecting myself wasn't sustainable. I couldn't pour from an empty cup. The stress, the fatigue, the constant giving, it took a toll. And I knew that if I wanted to continue showing up as the best version of myself for my loved one, I had to make a change. So I started small. I gave myself permission to take moments. Tiny ones at first, but moments that were mine. And those small moments became the foundation for something bigger. My self-care routine isn't elaborate or time-consuming, but it is intentional. It's a series of small, mindful practices that refill my cup so I can keep going with strength, resilience, and love. I'd like to share what my self-care looks like. So journaling. At the end of the day, I take a few moments to write. Some days it's a list of things I'm grateful for. Other days it's just a brain dump of everything weighing on me. Writing helps me clear my thoughts and process emotions in a way that feels grounding. I listen to music while I shower. It's something about the combination of water and music that feels like a reset button. It transforms a basic routine into a mini retreat. I love listening to an audible book while driving or waiting for an appointment. Instead of using every moment to think about the next task, I use this time to escape into a good book or learn something new. It turns otherwise passive time into something enjoyable. I have 5 minutes of stillness before the day begins. Just 5 minutes before the world starts pulling me in different directions. I take a moment to breathe and to center myself, to set an intention for the day ahead. I also love scheduling a hot chocolate with a friend once a month because I don't drink coffee. I used to go months without connecting with friends. Now I schedule it because if it's in the calendar, I'll make it happen. And those conversations, they remind me that I'm not alone. Sometimes I incorporate meditation or hypnosis before bed. On nights when my mind refuses to quiet down, I turn to meditation or hypnosis tracks. It helps me to transition from the stress of the day into a state of rest. Placing a couple of pieces of a puzzle that I'm working on. This one is surprisingly therapeutic. It gives me something to focus on, something simple yet satisfying, but I have to limit the number of pieces, otherwise I could be there for hours. These small acts, these micro moments are what keep me going. They don't take hours, they don't require major life changes, but they remind me that I matter too, that my health and well-being are paramount, not just for myself, but for the success and outcomes of my loved one's medical journey. And if I could leave you with just one thing, it would be this. Start small, start with one moment. Give yourself permission to take up space in your own life because you deserve it. These micro moments taught me that self-care doesn't have to be complicated or time-consuming. Sometimes the simplest actions can have the most profound impact. As we wrap up today's episode on micro moments of self-care, I hope you feel inspired to begin or continue incorporating these small acts of self-kindness into your daily life. Remember, you are worthy of care. And by taking time to yourself, you're also taking care of those you love. Let's make self-care a priority. One small step at a time. You don't need to do it all at once. Just one mindful breath, one stretch, or one moment of gratitude is enough to start building a practice that nurtures you. In our next episode, we'll explore the invisible weight of caregiving. Understanding the mental load, a powerful tool that helps you stay grounded and resilient in moments of stress. Thank you for joining me today on Radiant Moments. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to subscribe and share it with others who might benefit. Until next time, remember you can't pour from an empty cup, so take the time to fill yours. Stay radiant, stay empowered, and keep shining your light bright.